Good day, robotics fans. We're back for another video tutorial here. Excuse me, dealing with our SwerveBot. So I have got the code open that we generated for our very first SwerveBot code here. And as we discussed in class, one of the, I don't want to say issues, but one of the things that we can improve on with our SwerveBot is right now it's powered up by turning the cortex on. Right? We've got some different buttons, we've got some different sensors. So we'd like to start programming it so that those sensors activate some of the subsystems like the drive system in our robot. So in this video, we're going to cover how to do that. We're going to get rid of this wait command. We're going to program a button push command to activate our robot sequence of driving forward for 5 seconds, stopping for 2.5 seconds, and reversing. And then you're going to work independently to program the other button to make the robot do donuts. So I will let you know when the due date is on this, but you're going to want to stay on task and make sure to get this done as quickly as possible because we've got a bunch of coding to do with our SwerveBot. So this actually is going to start off, I've got a few files open here I'm going to close. All right, this is going to start off with SwerveBot program or SwerveBot code number 1 open because we're just going to edit this. All right, so I want to start this sequence here by doing a save as. Before I do any editing of my program, I'm just going to do a save as. And I've been in here and practiced this already, so I'm going to call my second SwerveBot code number 2, and say save. All right, now, since I've already got a SwerveBot code number 2, I'm going to replace it. All right, you'll be doing that for the first time. And then you can see up top here, this tab now says SwerveBot number 2. So I'm working on a brand new file. My original code's not going to be lost if I take and I edit this. Right? If I hopelessly goof this up, I can always go back to my initial code, do a save as, and run through this sequence of editing again. Right? And the editing is actually going to start off by deleting this wait 2 second command. So remember on the initial code, we power the cortex up. It waits 2 seconds before the wheels start spinning, so we've got a chance to put the robot on the ground. Right? Instead of waiting 2 seconds, we're going to change it up so that the robot waits until one of our buttons is pushed. So I'm going to switch my pseudocode up first here just to kind of help me with my thought process. I'm going to write wait until button push. Now, if I come up top here, I've got 2 touch sensors or 2 buttons that I can push, and I call them switch left and switch right. So I'm going to use that in just a second, but first I need to go into my natural language codes over here. I'm going to go into the until section, and down at the very bottom there's an until touch port. So I'm going to take that code, I will drag it over to the top here. And hopefully you're familiar with this now. We've got until touch in blue, that's the command. I need to program this variable in the parentheses. So at this point, I can choose to either call it switch right or switch left. And so I think I'm going to have the right switch activate this sequence. So I'll just type switch right inside of my parentheses, and it looks good. And so I've already saved early. I'm going to save often. I'll go up here and click on the save button. Now I want to compile this program. When I can breathe a sigh of relief as I compiled it, I don't have any errors down here. And so that means my one line of editing seemed to work out good. So at this point, right, we're not going to download it to the bot, but if we did, that right switch would activate this sequence here. It would start the motor, it would drive forward, it would pause for 2.5 seconds, and then it would drive in reverse for 5 seconds. So now what I'd like you to do is pause the video at the end of this and go to your engineering notebook. I'd like you to jot down some pseudocode for making the robot do donuts. If we want it to spin in circles, what do you need to do? Are you going to have to activate motors? Which direction are they going to spin? What speed would they spin at? Just kind of think through that process. Jot that down in your engineering notebook. So now that you're back with me, hopefully you've got some information in your engineering notebook. I'd like you to write that pseudocode in the computer right now. So remember, pseudocode starts with the double slash. We can put a little space in here just so it's easy to read. And you're going to type in your pseudocode in this section. All right, so look in your notebook, copy it over line for line for line. Yep, once you've got that pseudocode typed in line for line for line, then you're going to come over here to the natural language section and drag the commands over that you need to make the robot do donuts. Okay. Now, the last thing I want you to do is we want to initiate this donut sequence with button push. So hopefully you've already paused the video, you've got your pseudocode typed in, you've got your natural language code matched up to it. All right, we just need to activate this with a button push. So I'm going to say wait until button push left, and I can't have the right switch do the same thing. Well, I suppose I could because it's already run through this, but we're going to program the opposite switch into it. So I'll come over here to my until commands, and I bring my until touch over, and this time I'm going to call for switch left. And so that's going to activate my donut sequence. Right. So now at this point, again, save often. Go ahead and click that save button. Right, compile your program. Right? If you see errors down here, be a good little engineer or critical thinker. Read the error message, see if you can go up and fix the errors on those lines. Continue clicking the compile program button until you're error free. At that point, you can download the program to your robot. Okay. Once you've figured out for sure that your program works, you've evaluated it, you've fixed any problems you've identified, then you can bring your laptop up with your completed code and your functioning robot up, show it to me. I will check it off in the gradebook, and you are ready to move on to the next coding challenge. So keep up the good work. Congratulations on making it this far, and happy coding.